Hey, all right, finally got it working. Not the ideal conditions for this. Just gonna sit here for a moment before we start diving in to talk about the Palmetto Trail. As you can hear, it is sprinkling pretty good now. I'm about ready to cancel this whole thing because it's going to sound loud to you guys probably. It's just a light sprinkle, but on this Dyneema, it is terrible. Hey, Tom. All right, here we got some people jumping on finally. There's my wife. Hey, babe. Some of you probably saw me try to go live like 5 minutes ago, and my darn screen orientation was locked to vertical, and I had to switch it. So I just canceled the whole thing and started fresh. So yeah, as I was saying here a little bit ago before you guys started jumping on here, it's sprinkling pretty good now. So these conditions are not ideal for doing a live stream, and I'm inside my tent. I was planning on having a fire tonight and setting up my chair out there and having my headlamp on the picnic table. And hey, CG. Hey, Julia. Hey again from CG. Yeah, sorry about that, man. I had to cancel that real quick. My orientation lock was not horizontal, it was vertical, and I had to change that. So yeah, I wanted to be out there by the fire. Hey, Pete. And I was gonna have my light on the picnic table and setting up. Oh, it was gonna be nice and just beautiful time to be outside, but not now. So I got my headlamp just sitting on the floor of my tent, and I'm gonna hold the phone. I'm sitting Indian style with some smelly hiking clothes behind me, hanging on my little homemade clothesline here in the duplex. All right, so, hey, Pete, are you still there? What's the deal with this not being able to put a title or a picture on the live stream tonight? I don't know what's going on. Usually it gives me a chance to take a photograph and title the live stream, and it all looked different to me tonight. So sorry guys if you weren't sure what to expect with this live stream, but here we go. So I am here in the Palmetto Trail in South Carolina. It is a nearly 500-mile long footpath spanning the entire distance of the state, starting in the East Coast by the Intercoastal Waterway, pretty close to Charleston, South Carolina, and runs all the way up into the Foothills Trail, right by the border of North Carolina and South Carolina in the Blue Ridge Mountains, pretty close to Table Rock State Park and Mountain Rest area, if you're familiar with those areas. So I am currently, I have currently finished 250 miles of the Palmetto Trail, and I've done those over the last 2 seasons, 2 Februaries. So the 3rd February is coming up next month here, and I'll be coming back down for a real 120 to 130 mile backpacking trip. But the reason I'm here today is I had a few free days after New Year's Day to get away, and I thought, this is the perfect time. Pete, I just looked up one and it looked normal. Must be a YouTube glitch. Yeah, I don't know. Oh well. So I skipped a couple road sections last year. Those of you who have watched my Palmetto 3-part series from last year, I was down here with Leonidas, and we skipped a road section coming out of the new Boyd Passage, also known as the Cooks Mountain Passage. It's going to be named the Boyd Passage. It's almost officially open and done now. So I wish it would have been last year, because me and Leonidas had a heck of a time getting through there. We were trying to get around, trying to avoid walking through private property, but we eventually just had to bite the bullet, and we went down some roads and driveways that looked like private property, but we got through. I was on it a little bit today because we got picked up by Jamie, the trail coordinator down there in this section, and he took us to the Fort Jackson Passage. So we skipped 3 miles. So that was my first priority today. Is I went back to that trailhead at Fort Jackson, and I ran the 3 miles back to where I got picked up with Leonidas last year. And then I did an out and back, so I had to run it back. So even though I only needed the 3 miles, I ended up getting 6. And got something weird that came up on my screen there. It thought I was driving. What in the world? Why would my iPhone think I'm driving? Give me a break. Am I sitting here shaking too much? Okay, anyway, I knocked those 3 miles out pretty quickly, 6 miles out, and then the next section that we skipped that I wanted to knock off was inside the military base at Fort Jackson. So at Gate 5 is where we got picked up by the trail coordinator, Marie Butler, and she took us around to Gate 1. And that's where you got to get your pass to get through. So it's a long story, but we couldn't get in the base legally when we were here because you could only come out on Gate 5. You can't go in or out on Saturdays, and we were here on Saturday. So we just said, you know what, forget it. Let's just go around the base. The whole passage is 16 miles, so we did 11 of it. So we skipped those 5 miles, and we went on to do the Capital City Passage through Columbia, which was spectacular. If you're ever on the Palmetto Trail and not wanting to do the Capital City Passage because it goes through downtown Columbia, you're making a big mistake. It was beautiful, just old historical homes, and they've just kept the old feel of Columbia alive. It's just beautiful. So today I drove to Gate 5 where I left off last year, left my truck there. I posted on the Palmetto Trail Facebook page and asking for shuttles. So a lady responded, a couple people responded. I got a lady that was available today. She picked me up and took me over to Gate 2, which is where you have to go in and get your background check. So you can't just go into the military base anytime. There's specific hours for certain gates. And Gate 2 is where you get your background check. So I went in there, and the guy shook his head at first when I told him what I was wanting to do. He goes, "No, you can't do that today." And I think he said that because he thought I was going to be taking a vehicle out Gate 5, and you can't, and except between 6 and 8 p.m. on weekdays. But then he looked at his partner, and oh no, my light's falling over. He looked at his partner, and they talked a little bit, and then he agreed to go ahead and give me the pass. So 10 minutes later, I was walking out with my civilian pass to get into the military base, and walked those 5 miles back down to my truck. It actually ended up being 6. I think I missed a turn somewhere, but there's only about 3 miles of it was road through the military base, but that was a really cool place. So I'm glad I got to experience that. You know, you can see a lot of military vehicles. You see a lot of neighborhoods. I mean, it looked like I was walking through a rural neighborhood. There's tennis courts, swimming pool, lakes, a campground, golf courses. So, I mean, it's a big place. It's like, the base is like 20 miles long, 5 or 10 miles wide, I'm guessing. I mean, it's a huge, huge area, and you don't even know you're in the base once you're in there. So I'm hoping this rain isn't too loud for you guys. It's coming down pretty good now. But yeah, 3 miles was on asphalt, sidewalks, roads, all that. And then I got into the woods again for the final 2 miles and knocked off that passage, and then got in my truck and drove to the Peak to Prosperity Trailhead, also known as the Alston. It's actually called the Alston Trailhead. It's right on the Broad River. That's where I'm camping at right now. The Broad River is actually right behind me. Rain volume is minimal. Awesome. Thanks, Pete. Hopefully my voice is coming through loud and clear. The Broad River is pretty quiet, but I'm literally 30 feet away from the water. So this is one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight. Well, first let me finish telling you about what I'm doing tomorrow. This is a major road section that me and Leonidas skipped last year. It's 23 miles. Man, that was a good comment someone gave me. I was just trying to read that. Someone got 10 hours community service for hiking in Vanderburg, California during missile launch. Oh my gosh. You know, back to that Fort Jackson area. You could easily, Gate 5, you don't need to, I know it's the proper and legal way to do things is to go around to Gate 2, get your civilian pass, get your background check, and then go in there. Or you can go in and out any gate at that point. But when you get to Gate 5 on the Palmetto Trail, you can just keep right on going. You can walk right into the base. I don't know why me and Leonidas didn't do that last year. If I was doing it all over and I didn't want to have to come back down and do that section at a later date, I just would have walked right down in. And then when we got to the end at Gate 1 or 2, you just walk right out. They don't know whether you have a pass or not when you're going out. They don't care. They don't check you. They only check you coming in, but not when you're on the Palmetto Trail. So it's a very strange way that works. I'm glad I can say that I did it correctly and legally. But I'm just letting you know, you can easily walk right through there without doing a stupid pass. Anyway, so tomorrow morning I'm getting up bright and early, and I'm leaving my truck here at the Alston Trailhead and getting that lady. Her name's Ann. I believe she's a retired lady who is actually on a wildlife management board for Columbia, and she's into birding. She's hiked lots of little sections looking for birds and stuff on the Palmetto Trail. So she's going to be picking me up tomorrow about 9 a.m. and taking me down to Columbia, where I left off with Leonidas, right on the Broad River and the Congaree. Pete, you got to help me out with this one if you're still there. It's where the Congaree or the Wateree joins forces with the Broad. It's one or the other. I get it mixed up. I didn't look on my maps before this, but I'm going to be walking that section. It's about 23 to 25 miles. It's 2 different routes I can take. So, yeah, that's what's happening tomorrow. And then we'll move on to another passage, Lynch's Woods. I haven't done that one yet. That's up by Newberry. And then I'm going to hopefully finish off the last half of the Newberry Passage, which is where I finished up last year. Approximately mile 250 of the Palmetto Trail. So I still have 250 miles left before this is all said and done. 2 more years. Well, 1 more year. This next month I'll be back down here, and then next year I'll come back 1 more time to finish it all off. Okay, so when I got here, I needed water. I was out of water. I drank the last of it at Fort Jackson, and I was like, I'm going to buy some water on the way here. Saluda becomes the Congaree. That's right. I knew you knew what was going on, Pete. So here at the Alston Trailhead, I got here and I was dying of thirst. I was like, crap, I forgot to buy water. So I took my 2 jugs, my bottles, and my Platypus Quick Draw filter. What in the world was that? Something loud just cracked out there. Sound like the bridge is coming down. I was walking down to the water trying to... Voice coming... I got to get going. Okay, thanks, CG. Appreciate you tuning in. Got an early start tomorrow, yep. Hike with Mike, hey. So I'm trying to go down and get water because I'm dying of thirst and I need water to cook. And it is a muddy, sloppy mess. And I'm not talking about just a 2 or 3 foot bank. This was 10 or 12 feet. And I started slipping. I was like, oh, I'm going to go to a different spot where I saw a tree leaning out over the water. Maybe I can get down there better. It was even steeper. And yeah, Sasquatch is out there, man. He's listening to me. He wants to go live. I slipped in the mud like I was standing on ice, and I started flying down, sliding like I was on a luge headed towards the Broad River. I had mud from my knee all the way to my shoe, plastered on my leg, all over my butt, all over my puffy coat that I was wearing. My camera tripod was caked full of mud. Trying not to miss these comments when they come in. Oh, sorry guys if I'm yabbing away too much and not reading your comments. Snowshoes. I'm not sure what that's about. Do I need snowshoes? I had my topos on, and they were no match for that mud. Slimy, slippery mud, and luckily I caught myself before sliding in the water. I took a second look at it and said, nope, I'm done. Luckily I have service here, and I searched for the nearest Dollar General or gas station, and it was 6 miles down the road, so I went and bought 4 bottles of water. Yeah, I'm sure he wished he would have seen. My wife wishes she could have seen that. Where's the Colonel at? Colonel, come on, get on there, man. You said you were going to be on here, help me remember what to talk about, and you haven't even made an appearance yet. I am very disappointed in the Colonel. Jeez. I probably could have talked him to driving down here just to go live with me. That's how bad he wanted to go live. And now he's not even here. What a shame. So I got the water back, got my dinner cooked, washed up a little bit. Luckily I had an old chamois cloth in my truck and I was able to clean off some of the mud. And I think I'm clean enough to, Pete said demote the Colonel to a major. I love it. Oh man. 12 miles round trip for water. Yeah, pathetic. I'm ashamed to even have to tell you guys I did that. Terrible, man. I've hiked like 5,000 miles in my life, filtered water, hundreds of bottles of water in my life, all over the country, and I couldn't get down to the Broad River. Terrible, man. I'm embarrassed. Silver major. Oh, man. Okay, so maybe that's the sound you heard outside the Colonel. Yeah, Colonel drove 500 miles. That's why he's not here. He's in the middle of driving the 500 miles to meet up with me. Connected to the vine. Ouch. Oh, okay. So what else is there going on? This is going long now. We're 15 minutes already. A big reveal tonight, guys. I'm unveiling the first look at the official Sheltowee Trace tattoo in its finished glory. Are you guys ready for it? All right, I'm gonna try to get the light and the camera just right so you guys can see this. I was looking at it a little bit before I went live, and I think it's still a little bit in a healing process because it looks like there's a little white dots of, little skin dots along the black ink. So maybe it still has to 8:22, time for bed. Yeah, well, hey, do you want to see the tattoo before you go to bed? It's time for me to go to bed too. Now here's the tattoo. Let's see if we can get this camera on here to see this. I hope this works. Come on. Got to get it just right. There she is. Oh, restless. What'd restless say? I'll pull these comments back up in a second. There she is. Look at it. Oh, I love it. So, I know my wife's not a big fan of it. She's not a big fan of tattoos. But, man, after hiking freaking 1,100 miles on the Sheltowee Trace and holding the trilogy of FKTs, I had to do something, right? And like Colonel told me, this is a gateway to becoming addicted, a gateway tattoo to becoming addicted to getting more. And I don't really want more tattoos, but I am thinking about doing, let's see if I can get my fingers right up here. The word FKT up here. And my wife has to approve this. This is just I'm just shooting from the hip right now, talking about what I'd like to do. FKT right here. Maybe my 3 dates right here, like apostrophe 19, for 2019. Apostrophe 19, apostrophe 21, apostrophe 23. So the 3 years that I held it. Maybe the miles down here. And then in the 4th corner, this is where I need some input, guys. I don't know what to put there. I don't want to put Sheltowee Trace because I think this is the Sheltowee Trace. I'd be redundant. Maybe a scripture. A piece of scripture. Favorite verse. There you go, Pete. You read my mind. Yep, and thanks to the Colonel for that little piece of advice, because I was at a loss. I don't know why it didn't dawn on me to do that. But that's what it's going to be. Yet to be determined. But for now, we're just going to stick with this. Oh, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Let's see if we can get the light right here. Gonna wrap this up here in a few minutes. How do I pull these comments back up? There we go. That's pretty awesome. Tom Kelly Outdoors, from Louisville, not Louisville, Lowellville. Well earned, says Tom. Boom from Pete. Kentucky Backpacker, just got your comment on my video today. Thanks, buddy. Hopefully your pants stay on. What's that mean? Restless? Hopefully my pants stay on. Why can't I figure that one out? About lost my pants sliding down that muddy bank into the Broad River. Oh. Well, we're coming up on 20 minutes here, guys. This is fun. I could sit here all night and talk, but we got to end this sometime, right? Oh, here's a funny fact. If I want to lose subscribers, I just go live. I lose between 5 and 15 subscribers every time I go live. That tells you how much I enjoy going live for my biggest fans. Thanks, guys. I appreciate the support. But to the masses that just subscribe to my channel because some stupid shorts that I put out that went viral, good riddance. All righty, guys. I think I'm going to turn in. Got a big walk ahead of me tomorrow. I could easily just go out and jog that 23 miles in, I don't know, 6-7 hours. But I'm going to wear the backpack, fully loaded with gear, and I'm going to do an overnighter. I'm going to stealth camp along the highway. I might be trespassing. I don't know. Maybe I'll go live again tomorrow, and we'll talk about the spooky woods I'm trespassing in to sleep through the night. I don't know. But yeah, if I wear my backpack, I'm not going to hike all 23 miles in one day. I don't think. I mean, I guess it is possible. So we'll see. Yeah, I'll walk softly. I'll be careful. No fires. If I have to stealth camp in non-state ground, non-public ground, I won't make a fire. I'll leave no trace and get back up and hit the road. No one will know I was there. Alrighty, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night. I appreciate you supporting me and commenting on my videos and on my live stream. And I'll catch back up with you guys again later. Good night, babe. Thanks for checking out the live stream. Retracted? What? All right, guys. Thanks a lot. It was good talking with you and hanging out. See you on the next one. Good night.